All right, so we have our crappy application running, and we come into collections and our crappy Postman collection. And all we're really going to do is we're going to start at the top and we're going to run down through some of the key endpoints and see what data comes back. Now, of course, the best thing to do is run through all of the endpoints, get an idea of how they work, what they're supposed to do, and then the ones that take parameters or the ones that we discover that we can post to or put to instead of just get, for example, we test in more depth to see whether they can leak further information. But to begin with, all we're going to do is go down the list and see whether we can find anything that looks out of the ordinary. So I'm just going to sign up a new account. We get user registered successfully. And I'm just going to move myself out of the way so you can see all of the responses clearly. And then what we'll do is we'll come to login. We log ourselves in. We don't necessarily need to, but we can just verify our JWT. And then forgot password and the OTP one-time password. I think for now we'll skip over these. We can see things like resend vehicle. So we can have a look at get vehicles, nothing's returned, get recent posts. And here is the one that we found earlier. So we can see these email addresses listed. And we can see the vehicle information, although this user doesn't have any vehicle yet. And then, of course, if we scroll down, we can see other users and other sensitive information that shouldn't be returned. So finding excessive data can be as simple as that, but it can also be quite complicated as well. So for example, if we have an endpoint that takes some data, for example, the get reports, we may have to go in, create a report, send the report ID, and then review what comes back. And even if this isn't vulnerable to other things such as broken object level authorization, broken function level authorization, the endpoint might return sensitive data that it shouldn't return. And really, there's no shortcut for understanding the application and going through methodically and thoroughly testing each endpoint. So now it's challenge time. There is at least one other endpoint that leaks some sensitive data. So your challenge is, of course, to find it. Make sure that you have sufficient data in the application to test. So at least a couple of users that are registered, add their vehicles, add a video, and so on. I'm not sure if I mentioned this already in a previous video, but setting up our target environment for testing is a crucial step to make sure that we don't miss out on some behavioral functionality within the application, regardless of it being intended or not. What I like to do is set up a few users and just add all of their details into my notes, such as their email address, password, ID, phone number, video name, anything really that belongs to that user, so that you can quickly identify if you're onto a Bowler vulnerability or if you find a leaky endpoint that reveals excessive information. Good luck with the challenge, and I'll see you in the next video.